Yes. Good morning. Good morning. Testing. Good morning. Okay. Excellent. I'm going to do a tiny bit of singing. Oh, smart.
So she's going to help me because he's so little that he can just go between people and suddenly you blink and he's gone.
Right. Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Salem. I am the Reverend Monica Jacobson. I use she, her pronouns, and I serve this congregation as minister. We are so glad you are here. Those of you joining us in the sanctuary, those of you joining us online, in all the ways that we gather to recreate and co-create this community. Leading worship with me today are Brenna Norval as celebrant, our Director of Religious Education, Molly Brown. Margaret Gregg is our Lifeline's lay minister. Our music director, Grace Curran, Lorianne Schmidt on piano, Sarah Pickett at the tech table, and Doc Hadley made our slides. This morning we also have ASL interpretation, and I'm sorry to say I don't know our interpreter's full name. Terry. Okay. Terry is interpreting for us this morning. We gather today, as always, as a community of seekers. All of us carrying questions and searching for wisdom and inspiration to help us live lives of meaning. We gather together to wonder at life's mysteries, to express our gratitude for life's gifts, and to grieve together during life's hardships. And we gather to be of service, to give and receive care, and to help each other learn and grow. You are welcome here exactly as you are. Whatever beliefs sustain you, whomever you love, however you understand and express your identity, and in all the ways you are still becoming the person you will be. If you are joining us in the sanctuary, please know that as part of our gathering, we have some quiet activities available. Those are for anybody of any age who prefers to participate with something in their hands. There is Play-Doh at a table back there, and I believe there also are clipboards with coloring pages. Molly and Carrie Lynn will not be checking IDs. You can get a coloring page at any age or stage of life if you would like one this morning. Because we are worshiping as an all-ages community today, and we know that among our range of ages, we have different needs for movement and different needs for quiet, different ways of being present, I want to say that if at any time you feel like you would be able to participate in the service more fully from a different location, feel free to get up and move. You will not throw off my groove by changing seats. You will not throw off my groove by getting a coloring page or checking out the Play-Doh table. And now, will you join me in taking a good, deep breath? Feel the air come in and fill your body. Feel it go out. Know that you are here in this time, in this place, and not anywhere else. Let us enter in to our time of worship together with these words from the Reverend Leslie Takahashi. All that we have ever loved and all that we have ever been stands with us on the brink of all that we aspire to create. A deeper peace, a larger love, a more embracing hope, a deeper joy in this life we share. Please rise now, in body, in voice, or in spirit, to join in singing our gathering hymn. It's number 94. You can find it in your gray hymnal, or it's on the slides up here. What is this life if full of care? time to stand beneath the boughs and stare as long as sheep or cows. No time to see when woods we pass, where squirrels hide their nuts in grass. No time to see in broad daylight streams full of stars like stars at night. No time to turn at beauty's glance and watch her feet how they can dance. A poor life this, if full of care, we have no time to stand and stare.
I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do. Please let us join and say together our affirmation. The words are projected here or printed in your order of service.
Love is our doctrine. Compassion is our way. Here we seek to create a joyful home for free religious exploration, build a community of caring fellowship, nurture the hopes, and serve the needs of our world.
We light this chalice as a symbol of the spark of creativity in each of us and in all life. We light this chalice as a reminder of beauty, which is always somewhere nearby. We light this chalice to represent our role as co-creators of beauty in league with life itself. Each week, we light 3 chalices. The first is for this congregation, the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Salem. We light our second chalice for our partner church in Szymon-Falva, Transylvania. And we light our third chalice for our children and youth in lifespan religious education and in our world at large. Please join me in singing our flames into life.
Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Each week, when we gather, one of the sources of wisdom we look to is a time for all ages. Yes, exactly. So we need folks to come forward. This is for all ages, although if you know about your body that sitting on the floor is not a great idea for you this morning, there are also chairs. For some reason, people tend not to sit in the front row. Can't really explain why. So you are all welcome to come forward. Molly and I have a short story to share, and then we want to ask you some questions about what you think it might mean. So come on up.
Hi, guys. Good morning. Okay, this story is called The Peacock and the Crane. Okay? A peacock, puffed up with vanity, met a crane one day, and to impress him, spread his gorgeous tail in the sun. "Look," he said, "what do you have that compares to this? I am dressed in all the glory of the rainbow, while your feathers are gray as dust." To help the peacock realize how its boosting makes others feel, the crane spread his broad wings and fled up toward the sun. "Follow me if you can," he said. But the peacock stood where he was among the birds of the barnyard, while the crane soared in freedom far up into the blue sky.
So in this story, there are two birds, right? There's a peacock and there's a crane, and they are different from each other. What did you hear in the story about peacock? Yes? That's right. Peacocks can really fan. That's right. They can spread out their beautiful tail feathers to attract mates. Exactly right. So peacock in the story is showing off his big, beautiful tail. Now, crane in the story feels like, maybe peacock is trying to tell me that he's a much prettier bird than I am. So what does crane decide to show off in the story? Yes? His flying. That's right. He flies way up high. So one of the things I notice about the story is that each of these birds has something different that is special about him. Yeah. So do you ever notice that about people or animals in your life, that they have different things that are special about them? Yeah? That's right. Tigers are white and yellow and orange, and they're really beautiful to look at, aren't they? Yeah. So one of the things today that we are thinking about is creativity. How each of us not only has things that are different about us, but each of us has different ideas, different things we can make and share. I want to invite you today during our service, as you're making things with Play-Doh, or after our service, we're going to have finger painting during coffee hour. That's for everybody of every age. We have plastic gloves for adults who don't want paint under their nails. And aprons. I hope that today, all of us will think about what is special about each one of us, what we can make that nobody else can make, and then join together, whether it's with the Play-Doh and coloring pages or whether it's at coffee hour, to make creations where we all share our different ideas and together create something even cooler, because it's all of us mixed together. Are you all willing to be part of that today? For sure. Excellent. Are you all willing to be part of that today? Awesome. So thank you all. And before you go back to your seats, it is the first Sunday of the month, which means I think Molly has some birthday cards to give out to people with January birthdays.
Thank you. Is Tabitha here? Lilith?
It's okay to send a representative to get the card.
She designated.
Thank you so much. Happy birthday. Marin? Narina? Or Kieran? Okay. Well, thank you so much. And you guys can go ahead on back to your parents or to the Play-Doh table. Thank you.
Now, I don't know if the folks who we are hoping are here for this next part are actually able to be here in person today. Are George Pitter and John Perhodsky here? It's okay if not. Looks like they weren't able to be here this morning. That's all right. Hopefully, you all are watching online or you will see this on the recording afterwards. We are starting a new tradition here. This is Sarah Pickett, who is our board chair. And we thought it would be a good idea once a month or so to have a moment of gratitude. A Unitarian Universalist congregation is always made up of the contributions of many different people, volunteering their time and their talents and their energy. And UUCS is a community full of members who willingly contribute their time and their talents. From time to time, it is good for us to pause to thank folks for their faithful service. Last month, you may have noticed, we were able to make a significant upgrade to our internet and Wi-Fi systems. Now, we want to recognize the time and the effort that went into our previous system from 2 volunteers who now get to be retired from their roles as unpaid network support. So George Pitter and John Prohadsky, who were not able to be up here this morning, we still want to acknowledge all of the work that they put in and thank them. For many years, our network was supported by their generosity as they pitched in alongside our staff to troubleshoot issues. Now, we have a service contract that goes with our upgraded network. So we have a different path to addressing our needs. And so we pause to recognize the time of faithful service and the milestone of these volunteers getting to be retired from that role and freed to turn their energy and attention to other projects. We are grateful. Will you join me in saying, we lift up our hearts in thanks? We lift up our hearts in thanks.
So we will be sure and send them a letter and a card expressing all of our thanks for all they've done. And they get to focus now on something new and be creative in something new, which is always nice. We all know that there are many people who, like George and John, who have for many years held this congregation together and continue to hold this congregation together. And so what we would like to do, regardless of whether somebody is stepping aside or not, we would like to just take a moment each month and acknowledge that. To say, that's right, we see you. We know that you've been doing this for years, regardless of what happens, and this is wonderful, and thank you. Thank you for that service. So if you have a name of someone that you feel should be appreciated like that, or if you're like, well, you know what, I've been doing this for, 25 years, and I never get a thank you. It's okay.
Self-nominations are accepted.
It's okay to say, self-nominations are okay. Please send that to me as the board chair, to the email being boardchair@uusalem.org. If you can't remember that, no worries. Just grab me or Reverend Monica, and we can get you in the right direction. And thank you, everybody, for keeping this community going. It is needed, and your time is well deserved.
Would you join with me now in a time of shared singing? I'm going to give Sarah just a moment to get back to the tech table. She's pulling double duty at the moment, but you also can take a look in your order of service. You will find the lyrics there to the song. This is a song by the UU musician Matt Meyer, based on those words from the Reverend Leslie Takahashi that we shared during the welcome. I'm going to sing it, and then Grace is going to echo it. So if you feel like, I want to sing the echo, Grace has got your back. If you feel like, I want to try, maybe on the second verse, to be on the initial line, go ahead and sing with me. Here are all the words, and you can find them printed, whatever's best for you to read this morning. All we have ever loved, and all we have ever been, stand with us on the edge of all creation. Now together. Amen. 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 Peace going deeper, love growing larger, hope getting stronger, and joy here together. Amen. 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 Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Margaret Gregg, and I'm honored to be one of your Lifeline's lay ministers. Fighting with this thing. Lifeline's lay ministers are members of the congregation who are here to help people in times of need. You can find us by looking for our lavender stoles and badges. One of our duties is to share the joys and sorrows of our members and friends of this congregation, because we know sorrows shared may be lightened, even a little bit, and joy shared may be magnified. So we have only sorrows today, and our first one comes from Mel. Mel is worried about a friend going through a tough time. Please keep her in your prayers. We have a sorrow, and this is one many of you will know, is from Christine Ertl, a longtime member of our congregation. Mary Murphy passed away on December 4th. Family was with her, and we haven't yet heard of any funeral arrangements. We wish peace for Mary. Oh, I fibbed. We have one joy, but we got to get through one sorrow first. And this is from me and my family. It's a big one. Marge French is in her final transition right now and will not be with us for very much longer. Please send her some joyful memories and lots of love to speed her on her way. She's hanging in there, and she seems to be going down and then up. But she has her friends around her, and her daughter will be joining her tomorrow. So we wish her Godspeed. Every once in a while, the old feisty Marge shines through. So our family is going to be with her after church today. So I got through that one. And we have a joy from Eric Schumann. 10 weeks ago, our family adopted Archie, a 14-month-old golden retriever. And I'm thrilled to be able to share the news that on New Year's Day, Archie was certified as a therapy dog. He'll be with us after the service today at the Lifelines table in the fellowship hall. Please come by and meet our new pride and joy. Archie is something else. He's done his share of visiting with Marge as well. So after the service today at noon, Eric Schumann and I will be helping to run an end-of-life workshop. And it's going to take about an hour, and it'll be here in the sanctuary. And we're going to be sharing information on the end of life, some choices you can make, how to go about thinking about hospice, and lots of other interesting stuff. So please join us. It's bound to be interesting. Bring your questions. And we're going to light one more candle for the joys and sorrows that remain unspoken. Thank you all, and have a good week.
Holding all that we have heard, holding all that we know is present in our lives, in our community, in our world. Will you join with me in a time of meditation or reflection or prayer, whatever is your practice, as we share these words from the Reverend Maureen Kaloran, who once served this congregation. Spirit of all blessing, be with us in the ordinariness of our days. May hope's light guard us and keep cynicism from our hearts. May the energy of laughter build endurance for the dark times of our lives. May creativity's vision grant the possibility of seeing old relationships with new eyes. May the oil of healing keep us from anger's hardness or despair. May the mantle of humility give us courage to admit when we are wrong. May compassion's loom weave in us the discipline to forgive. May patience help us bear in mind that ours is not the only scale of time. May the flame of justice be a beacon for the choices we must make. May peace be ever in us and sustain our stressful days. Spirit of all blessing, be with us in the ordinariness of our days. Let us share a few breaths together. As you remain seated, please join in our heart song number 15, The Lone Wild Bird. You can find it in your gray hymnal, or it will be on the slides up here. A lone wild bird in lofty flight is still with thee, nor leaves thy sight. And I am thine, I rest in thee. Great Spirit, come and rest in me. The ends of earth are in thy hand, the seas dark, deep, and far off land, and I am thine, I rest in thee. Great Spirit, come and rest in me.
The Tiger's Tail by Elizabeth Gilbert. One of the best descriptions I've ever heard of the phenomenon of ideas entering and exiting the human consciousness at whim came from the wonderful American poet Ruth Stone. I met Stone when she was nearly 90 years old, and she regaled me with stories about her extraordinary creative process. She told me that when she was a child growing up on a farm in rural Virginia, she would be out working in the fields when she would sometimes hear a poem coming toward her, hear it rushing across the landscape at her like a galloping horse. Whenever this happened, she knew exactly what she had to do next. She would run toward the house, trying to stay ahead of the poem, hoping to get a piece of paper and a pencil fast enough to catch it. That way, when the poem reached her and passed through her, she would be able to grab it and take dictation, letting the words pour forth onto the page. Sometimes, however, she was too slow, and she couldn't get to the paper and pencil in time. At those instances, she could feel the poem rushing right through her body and out the other side. It would be in her for a moment, seeking a response, and then it would be gone before she could grasp it, galloping away across the earth, as she said, searching for another poet. But sometimes, and this is the wildest part, she would nearly miss the poem, but not quite. She would just barely catch it. She explained, by the tail, like grabbing a tiger. Then she would almost physically pull the poem back into her with one hand, even as she was taking dictation with the other. In those instances, the poem would appear on the page from the last word to the first, backward, but otherwise intact. That, my friends, is some freaky, old-timey, voodoo-style big magic. Right there. I believe in it.
The author Elizabeth Gilbert wrote a book titled Big Magic about how to live a creative life, in which she tells stories like that one that we just heard. She says it's important to tell these kinds of stories, to write these kinds of books, because many people are afraid to live a creative life. And she says, let me list for you some of the many ways in which you might be afraid to live a more creative life. You're afraid you have no talent. You're afraid you'll be rejected or criticized or ridiculed or misunderstood or, worst of all, ignored. You're afraid there's no market for your creativity and therefore no point in pursuing it. You're afraid somebody else already did it better. You're afraid everybody else already did it better. You're afraid somebody will steal your ideas, so it's safest to keep them hidden forever in the dark. You're afraid you won't be taken seriously. You're afraid your work isn't politically, emotionally, or artistically important enough to change anyone's life. You're afraid your dreams are embarrassing. You're afraid that someday you'll look back on your creative endeavors as having been a giant waste of time, effort, or money. You're afraid you don't have the right kind of workspace or financial freedom or empty hours in which to focus on invention or exploration. You're afraid you don't have the right kind of training or degree. You're afraid of being exposed as a hack or a fool or a dilettante or a narcissist. You're afraid of upsetting your family with what you may reveal. You're afraid of what your peers and coworkers will say if you express your personal truth out loud. You're afraid of unleashing your innermost demons, and you really don't want to encounter your innermost demons. You're afraid your best work is behind you. You're afraid you never had any best work to begin with. You're afraid you neglected your creativity for so long that now you can never get it back. You're afraid you're too old to start. You're afraid you're too young to start. You're afraid because something went well in your life once, so obviously nothing can ever go well again. You're afraid because nothing has ever gone well in your life, so why bother trying? You're afraid of being a one-hit wonder, and you're afraid of being a no-hit wonder. And many other reasons. maybe something in that listing resonated with you. I would be a creative person, except I'm afraid of that one. So Elizabeth Gilbert brings us these stories like the tiger's tail to say, we can think of our creativity as a partnership that we make with ideas, with art, with beauty, with meaning that wants to come into the world through the channel of us and our lives, which I think takes the pressure off a little bit. She has a story of her own life in which she had an idea for a book. It was going to be a book from the 1950s about a woman working in a company in Minnesota, quietly, desperately in love with her married boss. And then his son is sent down to South America to explore the Amazon rainforest and disappears. And she gets sent down to find him. Elizabeth Gilbert wrote the proposal and she got the advance, and then, life happened. And she didn't write the book, and she had to return the advance. And some years later, she met the author Ann Patchett. They became friends. They would get together and talk about how things were going. And one day, Ann said, I'm working on this book. It's set in the Amazon rainforest. Elizabeth Gilbert said, wait a minute. I tried to write a book set in the Amazon rainforest. Can I tell you about the book I tried to write? She described it. And Ann Patchett said, now, wait a minute. I am writing a book about a woman from Minnesota who was quietly, desperately in love with her married boss, whose son goes missing in the rainforest. And Elizabeth Gilbert said, I couldn't write the book fast enough, so it left me and went to you. I'm glad you're writing it. Or maybe you've heard this one about the songwriter and singer Tom Waits, who tells stories about feeling like songs would come to him, wanting to be brought into the world. And one day a song came to him while he was stuck in very heavy Los Angeles traffic. If you've ever driven in Los Angeles, you can imagine. He knew he would be in this car moving slowly for a long time. So he looked up into the air in his car and he said, I can't write you down right now. Either come back later or go bother Leonard Cohen. These experiences, right? Creativity as a partner that comes to find us. Whether literally true or not, don't worry about it. Take these stories as an invitation to see yourself as a creative partner in the world. What does it mean to really live a creative life? What does that actually look like? I think it means being open to these moments of inspiration, not letting all those fears of what might stop you get in the way of answering the invitation. It requires trusting that there are treasures within you and beyond you that you can make manifest in the world. And as Elizabeth Gilbert says, it does not require complete dedication to a creative life. You are allowed to keep your day job. It does not require, quote, success. It simply requires that you make when you feel moved to make. You do not have to make a living with your creativity. You do not have to be critically acclaimed, and you don't even have to get locally famous at it. You simply have to be willing to make art and beauty. You have to commit to doing this, and you need to do it with joy. Do not buy into the idea that creating art requires great suffering and personal darkness. Elizabeth Gilbert writes, far too many creative people have been taught to distrust pleasure and to put their faith in struggle alone. Too many artists still believe that anguish is the only authentic emotional experience. She says they could have picked up that dark idea anywhere. It is a commonly held belief all over the Western world. What with our weighty emotional heritage of Christian sacrifice and German romanticism, both of which give excessive merits to agony. So what is the point of all this? Other than telling you some fun stories about improbable creation and encouraging you to make art, why is this worthy of our consideration? Well, first, I hope each of you feels empowered to let creativity move through you and bring more beauty into our world. This is good for you. And all those messages you have heard about all the reasons you shouldn't create or all the fears holding you back, you can set those aside and enjoy the pure joy of making things. Don't worry about what the outcome will be. And second, this is important because beauty is good for us. There is so much beauty in the world, and yet we can always use more. What if every time we read the news this year, we looked at something beautiful afterwards? We sought out beautiful music. We danced in our living rooms. We gazed at flowers. We know that beauty has a healing effect. Studies of patients in hospitals recovering from surgery found that those with a window that looked out on a beautiful view used less pain medication than those without something sustaining to look at. We know that people who have flowers around them experience improvements in their mood and sometimes also in their memory. The mayor of Tirana, the capital city of Albania, once restored and revitalized a war-torn, rundown, and impoverished city by beginning to paint all of the walls in the city with bright colors. And this lifted all of the energy. To have beauty around us through our deliberate acts of creation and through our simple acts of noticing helps us. The beauty you make may help you and it may help others. And I don't know about you, but to be alive in the world in 2026, I need some help. And I invite you to create because creativity is transformative. It is transformative for us and for all who get to notice and appreciate what we make. It is a necessary step toward imagining and working toward and creating a better world. It is part of transforming ourselves always toward the fullest expressions of who we are. It opens the doors of possibility. And what is January for, if not the opening of doors? You do not know when you create what will happen. I think that's why Elizabeth Gilbert calls it big magic. This partnership between us and the movement of creativity does some wild and wonderful things. So this year, may you know yourself invited into acts of creativity, of noticing and sharing and making beauty as often as you can. May it be so.
We support UUCS through our pledges, our time, and our connections with one another. We support the Salem community through donations to the Marion and Polk Food Share, and for the month of January, Family Promise. The Family Promise mission is to help homeless and low-income families achieve sustainable independence through a community-based response. They initiate coordinated local efforts that bring communities together to help homeless families regain their housing, their independence, and their dignity. The issue can seem overwhelming, and individuals may feel powerless to change the lives of people in poverty. For those of you in person, you may donate food into the Little Red Wagon. Monetary gifts may be placed in the offertory bags that will be passed, or by going to the website to donate. Thank you for maintaining the community of UUCS and for helping the wider community of Salem.
Please join with me in our words for giving thanks. They are printed in your order of service or available up here on the screen. To the work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action, we dedicate our many gifts, including these offerings. It's like a secret word up there.
We take light from our chalice, lighting the social justice lantern as a symbolic reminder of the light and justice that we carry out into the world. As we extinguish the chalices, let us hear these words by Rebecca Savage. As we come to the end of the service, may you depart from our time together, buoyed by the spirit of life, delighted by the warmth of our gathering, and renewed in soul and mind. As we extinguish the flame of our chalice, may its lingering spark be carried in your heart until we are together.
We are a busy congregation. You can find some announcements on the back of your order of service to help you know what is going on, including offerings both today after the service and next weekend. One item to highlight that didn't make it onto the back of the order of service, if you are a parent who would like to register your kids for Parents' Night Out at the end of the month, that will be on Friday, January 30th. You can contact our Director of Lifespan Religious Education, Molly Brown, to sign up so that kids can come watch a movie on Friday night, and parents can go watch a different movie, go to dinner, clean the kitchen. I don't know. It's your time. You do what you want with it. But this one didn't make it onto the back, so we wanted to be sure to highlight it so that you know that it is coming. There are so many other things happening. Do take a look and see what might be of interest to you. And if you do not already receive our Friday email updates and our monthly newsletter, you can sign up at the welcome table to get on that list. Finally, in addition to the things that are listed as happening today, I want to let you know that the unlisted collaborative art project is a large table for all ages finger painting in the fellowship hall during coffee hour. As we mentioned earlier, there will be plastic gloves and plastic aprons, so you will be able to keep your hands and your clothing protected. But that is an opportunity for everyone who would like to engage in some very low-stakes creativity. Come and smear some paint around. See what you can make. And know that you do not have to make anything alone, because someone else will come along and add a smear of paint to yours. I hope you will join us in this shared act of creativity and in these many other offerings in the life of this congregation. And now I invite you to rise in body, in voice, or in spirit for our closing hymn, number 326, Let All the Beauty We Have Known. It's in the gray hymnal, and there will be slides up here. Let all the beauty we have known illuminate our hearts and minds. Rejoice in wonders daily shown, in faith and joy and love that binds. We celebrate with singing hearts the loveliness of sky and earth, the inspiration of the arts, the miracle of every birth. Life's music and its poetry surround and bless us through our days. For these we sing in harmony, together giving thanks and praise.
While you remain standing, I invite you to join me in saying our closing words, which are printed in your order of service. You can choose to join hands with those near you, or touch elbows, or simply gesture toward each other, whatever is right for you. May
faith in the spirit of life, hope for the community of earth, and love for the sacred in one another be ours now and in all the days to come.
Blessed be.
Blessed be.